So Bear came out to see his garden. This is the continuing Adams County garden saga, I guess. Anyway, this garden comes in 3 parts. Part 1, about 450 asparagus plants, 8 rows, nearly 100 foot long. I just picked it last night. It was created by ripping through the sod. Well, it was a rhizomatous prairie grass, and I sprayed over the top of the rows, but I ripped with my little hand tool through the sod, made the ditches, and planted the asparagus according to directions, using heavy amounts of lime, phosphorus fertilization, and a little nitrogen. I planted them and I waited 4 years, and then I started picking. I picked yesterday, about every 2 days I pick about 2 full gallons of nice purple night asparagus from these rows. And I was planting things like tomatoes and green peppers on the side of these rows until this year, and I decided, nah, I'll just put them inside the fence. Last year I added a garden that I put inside a little handmade fence because of the deer. And I have corn and rows of beans and rows of about 250 pepper plants. Zucchini is in the middle of the 2 rows of peppers, because when they get up they won't run so much, but they might help shade the peppers, at least on one side. If we get a real hot summer, the shade will actually help produce better peppers. Second planting of beans on this row. They're starting to come up. I'll probably add some seed I've got left to it. And then I've got 3 rows of gourds, cantaloupe, and a couple of pumpkins, and then what else? Oh, summer squash. And what we're going to do there is hope they don't run into each other like I did last year. Made a mistake, so I kept everything pretty much in separate areas. Try to avoid that this year. I bought this little tool, this antique do-all. I use it along with my hoe to keep the weeds out, and it runs right along the surface. Just push it and it kills all the weeds by cutting them off. And it's a neat little tool. Too bad you can't buy them today. Not like that, you can't. Maybe we could adapt an old lawnmower. Have to be a heck of a strong guy to push a lawnmower without wheels through here. But it could be done, especially if skids were added. Anyway, this year I decided to fool Mother Nature and plant in the sod, minimum of tillage. I mowed the grass, then I sprayed with Fusilade 4E, and I sprayed twice and waited. Then I took my little tool and I dug trenches right through the sod. I soaked my seeds overnight. My fence posts were donated by a neighbor who gave me a bunch of split rail fence he was tired of. And so anyway, I ripped these rows through the sod. I buried soaker hose in the trench, fertilized, and added mulch from the dump. Soaked my seed overnight, and in about 3 days that's what I got. Came up fast. In addition to pumpkin, this is primarily a pumpkin patch, I have corn coming up, and I have some beans coming up. I'll probably add some beans to this patch. On this end seems a little bit weak, a little bit sparse. I don't know why. Maybe I planted them too deep. Anyway, we'll see how this turns out. The idea is that By the time the grass recovers from being suppressed by the herbicide, the pumpkins will run and cover the site pretty heavily with their big leaves. And this is one reason I wanted to put those here, because when I had them all mixed in the garden last year, they got to be quite a nuisance, smothering things like my cantaloupe. I also planted any extra cantaloupe in here that I might have had, and any extra cucumber that I had were planted in here. This row was the last one planted. Nothing's up there yet. Another day or two. So I can also use a post hole digger to transplant any extra plants that are out of row or extra in the garden. I can move them into rows, or I can move them back to another area. Like if I have some dead spots that didn't teak, I can fill in using my post hole digger with plants from areas like this where there might be too many in a batch. This is good. There's only 2. Here is 4. Maybe I could take a couple out of there. Here is only 1. We'll leave it alone. And here's a couple of whatever coming up. I'm not sure which pumpkins are which. I have a variety of pumpkins that I put in here, including decorative pumpkins and mini pumpkins, giant pumpkins, and decorative popcorn, Indian corn. Let them all cross. I'll eat what I can, and I won't worry about it. The rest the deer can have this winter. When I drop the net fence, it's just put on with staples and woven between the posts, but pretty effective, I think. Now Bear and I can get out of here. Bear and I, there he is, are going to go plant the rest of our beans that we soaked for the last 24 hours in water. We had a good rain last night, good inch, and so I don't have to water today. Hooray! I'm going to go collect different phyla of plants for a lecture on plant evolution. Sound fun? Oh, I know you love it.